So welcome you all again to the NetMinion Solutions. So yesterday we did one class, okay, where we checked that how we can do couple of the administration on our FI device, and now we will be proceeding further. So that's good. Hirin also joined now. Okay. So let us proceed for that. This PPT already was covered. I hope we were on the next PPT. Let me quickly open that. So we just talked about this slide. We already talked about this slide also. That slide. Okay, it was also done. Okay, it was also done. This help one also, global one also, creating virtual server also. I hope we were here. Okay. So remember yesterday I was saying you something that if you wanted to see the license file, we were into the config like folder, okay, or directory. Under the config directory we were checking something, right, the license file. Similarly, I was showing you that if you wanted to check the big IP base configuration, you can check that. Maybe if you wanted to check the configuration related to only the virtual server pool, SNAT monitors kind of stuff, you can check the big IP.conf. So let me quickly show you again over here so that you guys can have the fair idea. So root net minion, and we should be under the config only, ls minus l. If you will check, you can see there are more and more of files. Can you see it is your license file? We talked about it yesterday, right? So by cat, maybe you just put it over there, the file name, and you will be able to see all of the license kind of stuff over here, correct? Similarly, if you check again the ls, maybe if you are writing down, you can find out that okay, there is lot of other files also, like base conf. Can you see this base conf? So let us check the cat, maybe the base conf, and you will be able to see whatever the base config is. It will be visible to you that okay, what into my big IP conf, or what I mean maybe my big IP base conf. You can see lot of files over here, like big IP base conf will be showing you was what the base level network and system configuration, like VLAN, system profile, success profile kind of stuff, right? So this kind of thing you can see over here. You can see like system rules and the other rules. Maybe when we will be going about the network tab, okay, you can able to see. So there are lot of files available over here which you can check when you wanted to see it. Go into the config and check over there, okay. So there are lot of files available. So here it is mentioned, like if you wanted to see couple of the files, the name is mentioned over here, that if you wanted to see maybe some virtual server configuration or related to that, just go to the bigip.conf and it will be showing you all of this stuff. If you wanted to check the base configuration, like the VLAN interface kind of stuff, go into the baseline. Okay, there is one more like big db.dat. Okay, like database key will be stored over here. Like big IP user, the user account will be shown over there. Like alert, the alert will be there. Okay, so there are multiple of the files available, and you can go into this file system and you can easily check by using the cat or maybe the more. Okay, whatever you wanted to check. Even though sometime it may happen that you need to make the changes over the file system also. Okay, you should be doing it only when you are having a very good excellence in doing such kind of stuff, like big IP licenses. This is the file, right? You can maybe make a copy of this license file into the new license file. Maybe you can say the new. Okay, so if you will check the ls kind of stuff, you can see that one more file system will be there. Where is the license? Here is the license, and there should be license. How to check here? So ls minus l, maybe if we can check by that, where is new? Let's So can you see one more file is there named as new? Okay, what is this is? This is complete your same file what you copied. Okay, so sometime it happened like you wanted to copy maybe a new license into your license file, so you just take a backup of your file by copying it and then just do the changes into it. How to make the changes? Maybe by the nano command and maybe by going into the vi, like vi mode. If you are going, you just putting it enter, putting the I means you are into the insert mode. And can you see I am now able to move my cursor over here. Maybe I am deleting something, I can delete here. Maybe I need to add, maybe I am just writing test. Okay, and then I need to press escape, and after escape I need to write down colon and then W and Q. So WQ is means I am quitting, but after the writing down, and then your exclamation sign and putting out the enter. And now if you will see this file again, you will be able to see that the comment which you have added, it should be over there. Huh? So you added where? Can you see test? So you added this the test after this question, the dollar sign, hash sign. So it is showing you that. Okay, so that is the stuff you can like go into the file system and you can play using the file system. Guys, am I audible? Hello, hello.
Yes, yes, audible.
Okay. So let us talk about something more, okay? Like when you are going into the big IP system configuration state, and whatever you are watching over here, that is into the running configuration. Maybe you can say it is not into your startup configuration, or it is not into your NVRAM. It is only into the RAM. So once your device will be rebooted, it will get vanished if you are not saving these kind of configuration changes. And how to save the configuration changes? I told you yesterday. Can anybody tell me the command? So it is save sys config. Remember the
So, yes,
command it is. Huh?
save system config.
Yeah, yeah. So from configuration utility, whenever you are doing something, you are clicking over the finish. It is automatically saving for you. So you need not to go somewhere else and you need to apply the changes or maybe the save the configuration. No, it will be saved automatically. But the thing is, when you are doing something, maybe through the command line, then it will not be saved into your NVRAM. Huh? So in that case, you need to run that command which I was telling you. Okay. So it is showing you that if you are configuring virtual server through the GUI or through the configuration utility, it is getting saved into your stored configuration also. Okay, into your configuration file. So every configuration is getting stored into couple of maybe some of the file system. Okay, in the background there are some different file systems. So we will be talking about them. Don't worry. Later on in our subsequent classes, we will be talking about them. Then you can see that we are creating a virtual server. Okay, and into this virtual server we are just giving this name, giving the destination, the port, enabling it or something like whatever we are using, we are creating it. But if we will not do the save sys config, okay, still we are not saving it. It is only created over where? Into your running configuration. It is not stored in your NVRAM. Okay, but if you are putting the command save sysconfig, it is by the way which command? TMSH command. How you can see? By this. So if you are into TMOS, it means you are entering the entering into the TMOS using TMSH keyword. Okay. So that is how you are going over there and you are saving it. Maybe if you want to delete, it will be deleted from here until or unless you are not saving it. So if you have deleted it by mistake, maybe from your running configuration, you can roll it back. Okay, you can roll it back from the stored configuration. So you can see currently it is deleted, and if you wanted to check it again, it is showing you that no, it is not present. But if you will reboot the device, it will be showing to you, or maybe if you are just loading it back, it will be shown to you. Okay, so you can see when we load it back to our system config, it is showing us that okay, this file is again into your running configuration. So it is bit bit like your Cisco kind of stuff. So here again we are showing the same thing into this slide as well.
Whole configuration, right?
Sorry, who is speaking?
Sorry, sir.
Hiren,
Yeah, this is Hiran.
not able to hear you properly.
So it will copy all the configuration.
All configuration, correct.
Uh,
All configuration, correct.
so I mean, so okay. So will it be impact while copying the configuration? I mean, while overwrite the
What kind of impact?
I mean, just want to know. I mean, if I just overwrite the config, will there be any issues in the production? I mean, let's say for example,
So you
there
should
is already
you should not do like that, okay? Ever.
uh-huh.
But yes, if there is something, you can take a window and you can roll it back.
Okay.
Maybe there would not be any traffic loss, but even then, you should be take
Uh,
a good window, okay, for doing that.
Okay. Okay. So do we have any option kind of rollback one, rollback two? Let's say, for example, one virtual server, right? I accidentally deleted that. I just want to roll it back that virtual server only.
Create it
Will it
again.
possible?
Create it again.
Okay.
Okay. So if you are creating
Okay.
it again, maybe it will be not impactful also for other things, and you can roll it back.
Mhm.
But if you are rolling it back through the UCS file or from maybe the NV file, then of course you need to have some time window, right?
Okay.
So the same thing we are showing over here also, that you are having some kind of users. One is red user, one is blue user. Red user is doing something over the F5 and blue user is also doing something over the F5. And whatever they are creating, that is storing currently into the running configuration. Okay, till they are not issuing the command tmsh save sysconfig. So when they are doing it, it is going and stored into your NVRAM or into your configuration files. And when they okay, the blue user now created one more, virtual server, the HTTP virtual server, but he maybe accidentally forget to run that command. But after some time, if he wanted to roll it back, would it so he will not be able to roll it back, right? So he created that, but when they wanted to roll it back, okay, they will not be able to roll back the whole configuration because he did not issued the save sysconfig. Then this is your configuration archives. Like I told you earlier also, if you wanted to save your UCS file, so UCS file is your what? It is your user configuration set, or you can say it is a archive file. So there are two files. One is SCF, that is single configuration file. That file is a flat text file that contain all of the objects that compose of the big IP configuration. SCF files are only intended to help configuration additional maybe big IP system. Maybe if you wanted to check something, right? You wanted to match with one configuration from the another configuration. So SCF are not intended to take the backup and restore a full big IP system configuration or to restore the big IP configuration to the later maybe big IP version. Okay. But if you wanted to do something like to backup and to restore a full big IP system configuration or to restore a big IP configuration or to a later version, maybe if you are doing the late version upgrade or something, then what you required? You required a UCS file, that is user configuration set.
So two kind of file there, right? One is UCS, another is, I mean, the difference of all them.
SCF. Huh? So
SCF.
UCS file is your archive file. You would not be able to open it and you will not be able to see it. Okay, it will be there present, and you can upload it later on in your maybe later big IP system, and all the configuration will be rolled back. Okay, but you will not be able to check anything on from that file. Whereas
Okay.
your SCF file is some kind of plain text configuration which you can check later on some part also, that okay, what the configuration is there into my file. So how to save UCS? save sys, go to into the system for both of them. Okay, can you see you are going into the system for both of them? You are saving something into UCS, give the UCS file name. If you are giving the config file, just give the SCF file name and just store it. So quickly let us see it. You first of all, you where you need to go, you need to go into the TMSH. Okay, once you are going into the TMSH, you can create them. By the way, if you will be opening it through the GUI, not the SCF but UCS, let me tell you,
So UCS file, we can say like it's a kind of backup and configuration file that we have in our.
right. So meanwhile, let us check over the command line. Okay, we are over here, right? So if I'm saying save, okay, then I'm going into the sys, and what happened? Hanged out. Am I audible, guys? Okay. So config, and then you need to store the file, and the file name may be SCF. And what is today? 20th of September. Maybe let me write down only September, and with no passphrase, that I don't want to give any kind of passphrase. So when you are saving this, can you see it will be take some time, and it will be showing you a full path that okay, I have saved these files in which location or in which directory. You can download that by using WinSCP. You guys are aware about WinSCP or no? Hello?
No.
No? VNSCP is bit like your putty, okay, or putty, whatever you say it. So it is again a tool, like can you see here? Just you go over the new session, okay? There are a couple of the things. Maybe let me check this. And can you see? I have provided the host name. I have provided the username. I have provided the password. If I will log in, it will be get logged in if everything is okay. So let me show you. So this is my whole the file system of my big IP unit. Okay, just go over here, go into the root, and you can see all of the files of the root over here. Yeah. So now first let it be checked. So what it is showing to you that saving running configuration, where it is saved, variable, local, SCF, and that this kind of your SCF September. Oh, I give the name SCF set, not SAPT. So it is showing you SCT and into tar version also. So let us go into this, and let us go into the same file system. I am going to the variable, okay, into variable where is local. Maybe you can press L and it will be showing you where is the L. Okay, it is your local. And can you see there are two folders, UCS and SCF. If you will store UCS, that will be stored into this UCS folder. If you are stored SCF, you will be into the SCF. Can you see this is your SCF file? So this we stored before some time. Can you see the time? The Indian timing currently it is 21:06 or something. Go over here, download it. Okay, it will ask where you want to download. Maybe I am downloading it into the document. Okay, it is downloading into the document, and you can see this is my system from where I am teaching you. And into here you can see the SCF SCT is now available. If I am opening it by double clicking, are you able to see the whole file system, whatever I have the SCF is now stored into my local PC. Okay, maybe whatever the configuration, let me find by virtual, by using virtual. So here you go. Yesterday you created the September, virtual server. Remember, with this IP through the CLI. Then we have this virtual server also. what is the virtual server destination IP, what is IP protocol, what is mask, what is pool, what is profile associated with it, source address translation is there or no, this is automap, what about the translation address, port translation of the port. Okay, bit like all of the configuration, you can go through it later on when you will be able to understand about these files. Any doubt, guys? So SCF you can download from here through the VNSCP. Maybe FileZilla you have heard about, that will be doing the same kind of purpose, okay? Through the WinSCP or through the FileZilla. So similarly you can download your UCS file also, but I will be showing through the command line. So that is the same step, you can go over there and you can do. So where it was? Under the support. It is QK view. Where is archive? There is archive. So go into the system and into the archive. Okay, into the archive, can you see there are couple of already there are couple of backup. So I am deleting them all. So you can create a new one. Just hit the create button. Okay, give the name and just provide that if you wanted to enable the encryption or no, just leave it, disable it, include the private key. But you should be aware that when you are saving this file is having all of your configuration of your big IP unit. So you should be save it very, very properly. Okay, it should not be go into the such a hands which are not intended to use that. So just give any name, maybe we are giving the LTM and then September SEPT, okay, and finish it. So it will take some time and it will be stored into your same file system. So how to download? You can download from here also. There is two options. You can download from here also, and else you just go into the VNSCP and this time go to the local and into the UCS, and you can see into the UCS the new file will be get created, and same one backup will also get created at the same time when you are doing it. Okay, so it will take some time and it will be get stored. I will be showing you later on. So any doubt, guys, about this particular slide?
So on a second line, zipped archive file. I mean, it's just the name shown over, right? We don't have to run this kind of command. In-
So that is only showing you the thing that okay, it will be a zipped archive file. It's not a command. Command is this one. This is the command. Here also, below also there is a command. Okay, it is only to show you that you cannot open this like you can open the SCF file. SCF file is the readable file, but it is not your readable file that it is showing you.
Okay.
Okay, now let us move to the very beautiful concept that is interface. But let us check if it is saved or no. Continue. So still it is doing something. Okay, let it be doing. Okay. So when you are reading some any of the device, interface is very much important, right? So a key task of the big IP system configuration is the configuration of your big IP system interfaces. So the interfaces of on your big IP system are the physical ports that you are used to connect the big IP system to other devices on the network. The other devices can be your router, layer 2 device, destination server, or any of the thing. So through these interfaces, the big IP system can forward the traffic to or from your another devices, and the term interface refer to a physical port on the big IP system. Okay. So big IP system has two types of interface. One is the management. Second, which is carrying your exact data, that is your TMM switch interface, or we can say traffic management interfaces. We can say that. Okay. So these interfaces named as 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. I will be showing these all things in our later on slides. Okay. So let us quickly go and we can see those kind of stuff. Okay, how these will be used. So who joined? Maybe someone left earlier. Okay. So when we were talking about the TMM, the traffic management micromanagement interface, okay, we can say that these switch interfaces are showing with the naming convention of number and capacity. Okay, so it means like if you are having one module, okay, it will be showing maybe it is the port, okay, slot and port kind of stuff, huh? So how many slots you are having, how many ports per slot is having, so it will be using like that. So if you are saying the naming format, it is bit like your 1.1. It means first is your slot, second is your port. 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, maybe 4 ports are having into first slot. Okay, so it will be like that. Maybe there are 8 ports, so it will be leading to your 2.8 kind of stuff. So it will be built bit like that, and it depend upon your device to device, like how and which device you are using. Okay, so if you wanted to check what are the interfaces on your devices, you can just go over here also. Maybe let me show you. Show net interface, or maybe you can see the can you see there are in our devices there are 4 interfaces, right? One is your management interface, rest is your first slot, first interface, second, third kind of stuff. Okay, so there are 3 physical interfaces which we can say the TMM interfaces. Okay, now you can assign or you need to assign the VLANs or all of that stuff over the interfaces only. So every big IP system include multiple interfaces. The exact number of interfaces that you have on the big IP system depend upon the platform type. Each of the interface on the big IP system may have different properties. Like MAC address can be different. MAC address should be different for them. Media speed can be different. Maybe duplex mode if you are wanted to set. Maybe if you wanted to enable or disable the LLDP kind of stuff. That is bit like you are aware about the CDP in your Cisco term. Okay. So once you configure these kind of property on the interface, you can configure several other feature also on the interfaces. Okay, so that is the stuff. Maybe we will be checking them later on when we will be covering our subsequent classes. So let me show you quickly over the GUI also. Going to the network, going to the interface. Okay, so what happened to this? Okay, meanwhile let us check the VNSCP and check if UCS file is there now. Okay, can you see we have the UCS file, okay, which we created before some time. So this file is your encrypted file, you cannot open it, huh? So that is how you can download it on your desktop also, or maybe you can put it over here also. Later on you can upload from your system also, but let me show you. uh, Okay, let it become up. Meanwhile, we were discussing about this thing. So here is the interface kind of stuff. How we have shown you that this is the name format is slot and port, and these are assigned. Then anyone can tell me about the trunk. What is trunk?
Group of VLAN like access group of VLAN we know generally a trunk port or trunk VLAN.
So you mean to say that if we have one switch and if we have two switch, second switch, if these two switches are getting connected with a single link, if it is a access port, it will be carrying one only VLAN, whatever you wanted to put it into that, right? But if you are having the multiple of the VLAN of the traffic and you wanted to pass on from here to here, you need to create this port into the trunk. And similarly over here also, correct? Which is your Cisco terminology. Okay. What is your, port channel? Anyone?
It is used to aggregate bandwidth of ports.
So
increase the bandwidth basically.
Rajat is saying that in Cisco, on the number of 2, we can bundle the ports to create the physical ports into the logical one, and which will be behaving logical as one, which will be increasing the capacity, adding the redundancy kind of stuff, right? And into Cisco terminology, it is known as port channel. Now, remember, whenever you are saying trunking on the big IP, it means this guy. Bundling of the interface is known as trunk in your big IP terminology. Is it okay, guys? So do remember that. Huh? Do not get confused with the Cisco kind of stuff. So trunk we can say is what? Trunk is the logical grouping of your interface on the big IP system. So when you create a trunk, the logical group of your interface function as a single interface, like we have heard about the port channel into our Cisco world. Okay. So the big IP system uses a trunk to distribute traffic across multiple links, and we can also see what is this? The link aggregation. So either we can say the trunk, either we can say the link aggregation. So with the link aggregation or with the trunk, what you can do? You can increase the bandwidth of a link by adding the multiple of the links together. Okay, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 8, like that. Okay. So if everyone is having maybe 100 Mbps, in as per this diagram, we are creating 4, or we are bundling, or we are link aggregating the 4 interfaces. It will be having 400 Mbps. Again, traffic flow can be different for other ports, okay, but it will be logically having the 400 Mbps. Okay, so that is the part of trunk. How to get create? Go to the network, go to the trunk, okay, put whatever the members you wanted to add on, finish it, and it will be get created whatever your trunk will be. Okay, what is a VLAN? Anyone? What is a VLAN?
Used to divide broadcast domain.
Correct, correct. So, into the Cisco terminology, VLAN is what? When you wanted to break the broadcast domain. And into your F5 terminology also, it is the same. Okay. So, a VLAN or a virtual LAN is nothing but it is a way of logically partitioning a physical network into your different broadcast domain. Okay. So maybe you are having VLAN 10, VLAN 20, VLAN 10 can be of your database server, VLAN 20 for maybe your application server, or maybe for other applications. You can use different VLANs. So that all depend upon you. And again, you can create. Okay, maybe I will tell you about that stuff later on. So this is one VLAN, and the another VLAN will not be able to communicate over here into the another VLAN directly, but a layer 3 device or the routing should be there to do that. So everyone aware about the VLAN benefits, correct?
Sir, F5 support STP.
Sorry, F5 support what? The spanning tree.
How F5 behave with the STP? I mean, if the
So why you wanted to run STP
yeah.
over the F5? F5 treat F5 as the endpoint. Okay, you never enable the STP on your endpoints or on your desktop or on your laptops. You never enable the STP. STP is a feature of your what? Switch. So you should be aware, make aware your switch about that. But if you have a question, either it is taking
F5 is connected to the switch, right?
correct.
So assume that if my F5 is connected with dual switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that moment how it will work.
So first of all, why you are designing such a design that is not useful? When you are doing a designing team,
Mm-hmm.
when your designing team is providing a solution, why your designing team will provide such a solution that will not be useful?
Okay. Why it is not useful?
So if it is useful, you can break into the VLAN with VLAN 10, VLAN 20, okay? Maybe in that part, you can create the self IP and your routing will be different and different. Then it will be useful. Then layer 2 broadcast domain will be breaked. Are you getting this point?
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
you can break the layer 2 part.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to make, maybe if these are your logical 1 switch, make it as a trunk. It should be your VPC then, or it should be your port channel which should be supporting in both of your switches. No.
But these are two different boxes, right? How can
So
I?
if you are
Uh,
having two different 5K, okay, you should be having the
uh,
VPC over here if you want to support that.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
And if you are
yeah.
having the VPC, you make a port channel over here that is named as trunk. Then if you wanted to add it on the purpose of the redundancy, that will be okay. So this is your design
Okay.
related thing. Okay, you need to be
Yeah,
very
yeah.
much you need to be very much focused how you are creating. Okay, and if your
Mm-hmm.
end devices is supporting that or no, or if your uplink device is able to support that thing or no. So if your uplink is maybe your 2950 you are wanted to add and you are adding some another device, okay, even if you have the PC which have the different Ethernet, you can make the use of that, but not on the purpose of layer 2, on the basis of layer 3 then. Okay, and similarly,
Mm-hmm.
if you wanted to create the layer 3, that is fine, you can create it over the big IP also, right? But not on the layer 2.
Right. Okay.
So that is the thing. So what is the usage of your VLANs? We were discussing about your VLANs. Like VLANs, you are already aware, okay, that increase performance kind of stuff, manageability, security kind of stuff. Okay. So if you wanted to make VLAN or interface assignment on your big IP system, how you need to do that? Before doing that, we need to be understand that there are two things. One thing is untagged interface. One thing is tagged interface. And it is bit equal to your Cisco terminology, trunk and access port. See, one port if coming out, okay, or if maybe one VLAN is coming out of one interface, or maybe multiple VLANs coming out of one interface. So you can create a VLAN and assign interface to that VLAN as untagged interface, okay, and you cannot associate other VLANs with those interface if it is a untagged interface. So this limit the interface to accepting traffic only from one VLAN, okay, whatever VLAN you have chosen. So if you are using untagged, you can say like that it is your access port of your Cisco. But maybe if you wanted to make it a tagged interface, then you can use maybe multiple of the interface from 1 to 4094, whatever you want to add, you can add that. So when your big IP unit is added to the another switch, okay, or another device, you can use VLAN tag also or untagged also depending upon your design to design. So here what we are showing that only one interface is having multiple VLANs. So maybe VLAN 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of stuff. is carrying out the traffic from the single interface, that is your tagged interface, correct? Then it can be, okay, what is this? This is showing it is a mix match. How it is a mix match? Okay, can anybody tell me what are these interfaces are? These are tagged interface or untagged interface? So tagged means what? Tagged means when multiple VLAN traffic can be there. Untagged means what? Untagged means when single VLAN is traffic is there. So you can see all of these interface are carrying a single VLAN only. Maybe all of them carrying the same VLAN, that hardly that matters, but they are carrying only single VLAN. So all of these VLANs are the untagged, and this port is having the tagged interface. We can say it is a tagged interface. How you can assign the VLAN to an interface? Go to the VLAN, into the VLAN list, go just create a VLAN. Okay, like here we have created a VLAN named as internal, and into internal VLAN, if you are not assigning any kind of tag to it, okay, tag means the VLAN number, it will be by default starting from 4094. Whatever available interface you are having, you can just select that interface, that okay, I want to create it as a list of untagged, okay, and update it, and this will be the part of that particular VLAN. So here we will be creating 3 VLANs. One VLAN named as, in our lab particularly, we will be creating 3 VLANs. One is your internal, one is your external, one is your HA. So similarly in this case we are tagging it, that okay, this will be get tagged, and we are putting out the tagged also, that it can be a tagged interface, it can be an untagged interface, whatever you wanted to use, you can use. So tag and untagged we already talked about, that when you are using tagged interface, it will be carrying, you know, multiple of the VLANs. If you are using untagged, it will be using only single VLAN. So VLAN tagging we have talked about. Okay, okay. So this is your very important stuff into your big IP terminology, and you should be aware about it. Okay. So what is self IP? Anybody aware about it? Hirin is already working on the big IP. Hirin, are you aware about the self IP?
I mean, I'm not quite sure, sir.
Not an issue, yeah, not an issue. So self IP, I will be providing you all the logical statement later on, but let me give you an overview with respect to your Cisco terminology first. So you are having a Cisco L3 switch, and we are creating VLAN 10 for these 4 ports. These PCs are having VLAN 10 IP addresses. Okay, maybe VLAN 10 is having 10.10.10.x/24 IP address. So maybe it is having 10, it is having maybe 11, 12, and 14, something like that. Okay. So when these PC wanted to get communicated among each other, the communication will be very much okay. Let us suppose we are adding one more port, but this port is under the VLAN 20, that is having 10.10.20.x/24 range. If I am not adding any layer 3 device over here, is it possible that I am able to communicate between these two VLANs? Yes or no? This is your Cisco question, by the way. So question is either VLAN 10
No, we
traffic
can't.
can be go to the VLAN 20 or no. So it cannot be. Why? Because VLAN is created such to break the broadcast domain, and it even though it is existing on the same switch, but it would not be able to, you know, go over there. So what we need to create? We create a SVI, switch virtual interface, and over there we create integer VLAN interface VLAN 10, and we create a IP address. By default, all of the VLAN traffic will be considered their default gateway as VLAN 10 IP. Is it okay? Everyone is on the same page or no? You can ask this question again, otherwise we will be going to the self IP part. Any doubt to anyone? No? Okay. So similarly, here we are having all the VLANs, the layer 2 VLANs, and all those layer 2 VLANs can be go to their respective self IP. Okay? Self IP is bit like your, just give me a minute guys. So just take a quick break here.